Would you state your name, branch, rank, and time spent in service?
My name is Erinn Watkins. I'm a retired Army Master Sergeant, which is the second highest enlisted rank as an E8. I was in the Army, um,
The time period.
and I spent 29 years.
So, what is your connection to this particular area?
Well, I self-published a memoir last October, so I've been looking for opportunities to come and share my story. And I saw a link to this event on Facebook.
So, how and why did you enter the military?
Well, after high school, I don't know where I got this idea from, but I wanted to fly jets in the Air Force. And when I took the physical to go to the Air Force Academy, I found out I had 7 wisdom teeth. And they wanted me to get them removed before I could go. So I joined the Army to get it done for free.
So, while you were serving, what jobs did you perform?
Um, my military occupational specialties were 92 Alpha, which is logistics, and 42 Alpha, which is human resources. I spent most of my time doing operations and training environments.
Where were some of the locations that you were stationed?
Okay, I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia, where I was at the Airborne School as a S1. I was an admin in S1. I was the logistics NCO at the Jump Branch. And I was in the Tennessee Guard, where I was one of the original team members of the 45th Civil Support Team. Um, I left from there, and I was an original team member of the 21st Civil Support Team in New Jersey. I left from there and went to the National Guard Bureau in Virginia, where I spent 6 years. Um, I went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, where I was the National Guard liaison um, at the Special Forces School. I spent my last 5 years in the military there.
So, how did you stay in touch with your family and friends during your military?
Um, I remember we had calling cards when I was stationed in Germany, and we were able to use those to call back home. Um, I don't remember um, staying in touch too much with family, but that's what we use.
So, can you share a story about a memorable experience that you had while in the service?
Yes. When I moved to New Jersey to the 21st Civil Support Team, I was experiencing a hostile work environment. And I was the only one on the team that looked like me, but that didn't matter. I didn't care. It turns out that despite the fact that I got along well with my colleagues, my leadership, I didn't get along with my leadership. Um, there was a point in time where I discovered that my first sergeant was stealing my gear. And the day I found out, we were on a mission, training mission, and one of the devices that I used to perform my job was a little bitty adapter the size of my finger. That because we were a rapid response unit, I wanted to put it where I would find it every time. So I decided to store it in the back seat pocket of the front passenger seat. It just so happened this one training mission, it wasn't there. But I couldn't think about it. I had to fix it. So I decided to think outside the box, and I got through the day. Once we finished our mission and we got back to the unit, I decided to tear the vehicle apart and find this adapter. I got out of my seat and I started looking. And the first sergeant who was sitting next to me offered to help me find it. I said, no, that's okay, I'll find it. So she left. She left. I found it. It was under her seat. Turns out that they weren't done. So there are more things that happened, and I ended up getting recommended for separation from the guard in this same unit. I was in the commander's office. It was me, the commander, the first sergeant, the ops officer, and the XO. As we were talking, the commander was lying to me to my face. He ended up telling me that I was a poor excuse for a soldier. And I smiled because I didn't believe it. He got so mad, he kicked me out of his office. Turns out that he wrote a recommendation for me to be separated from the guard. And in the document, he said, he mentioned that I smiled. So I took that document, created a rebuttal the size of an encyclopedia. I went to my local legal aid and I made 5 copies. I gave one to the captain. I said, here, sir, here's your copy. I'm off to see the general. The general needed to meet me because he needed to know what type of soldier he was dealing with. So I wanted to tell him in person. He didn't let me leave the room. He said, wait a minute, Sergeant Watkins. Let me make a few phone calls. Needless to say, I did not get put out of the Army. I went on to move on to better things, made E8, retired with 29 years in the military. My story is how I did that. I want to share with people how powerful you are by yourself.
So finally, then, what would you like to pass on to the next generation about military service?
I want to share with them the first thing that I discovered about myself, and that was who I am as a person. Once I believed that about myself, there was nothing anyone could tell me that would make me believe anything different. I led with that, and I led with my best self. What I noticed is that a lot of times I was dealing with toxic people in hostile work environments, and I was the common denominator. So I had to do some self reflection and decide what is it about me that is making me go through all this. Once I determined that it wasn't me, it was them, I can handle them accordingly. I want to show people you lead with positivity, you lead with your best self, and everything will take care of itself.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.